Hi, I'm Neil Hermes and welcome to my weekly bird wrap, where this week I have three stories. One about a New Zealand wren who's made a mark in a competition. The second one is mental health benefits of bird watching, and the last is a record-breaking flight by a Godwit. Hi, I'm Neil Hermes and welcome to my weekly bird wrap. My first story today is about the winner of the New Zealand Endangered Bird competition. 50,000 New Zealanders have voted this year in a competition to nominate the most popular endangered species in New Zealand. Now, some of you who've watched my stories in the past know that this particular competition has been fraught with all sorts of corruption and devious behind the scenes deals. Different birds have been jostling to become the bird of the year in New Zealand. I think last year there was a suggestion that Russian hackers had got into the system and had perverted the voting. But also, with all seriousness, this is an important annual event which recognises endangered birds in Australia, and the organisers this year decided that they would try and weigh the stakes in favour of some of the lesser known birds. So they brought in a preferential system of voting. This meant that the little penguin, a very popular bird, didn't quite make it. But the Rockwren, or the alpine wren, this exquisite little rock-dwelling wren, made the cut and is New Zealand's endangered bird species of the year. A very rare bird, hardly flies much, it sort of flutters between the rocks, a yellowish sort of a bird. Fascinating little species, hard to see, but congratulations to the Rockwren, and look, congratulations to the New Zealand organisers for highlighting the plight of this small New Zealand bird. My second story today is about the health benefits of bird watching. A group of researchers from King's College in London have done some research about the benefits of being out of doors and listening to the sound of song. I can hear some silver eyes here in these trees above me now. I don't know if they're captured on the microphone, but the benefits of being outdoors, and there's a peewee calling, outdoors with bird sound around you, and being relaxed in the bush, and the benefits that has for your health. What they did was they took some control people and some experimental people, and they trialled some systems over in China, in the UK, right around the world, to see what the benefits were spending some time out of doors for people who had mental health issues. Unsurprisingly, they discovered that people who were able to get out into lovely sites like I'm standing in now, and spend some time listening to the sounds of nature, listening to the sounds of birds, and taking that in, actually has a huge benefit to our mental health. I don't think this comes as any surprise for many people who've enjoyed bird watching all their lives, that it makes you feel good to be out. But it is interesting to get these results in from the King's College research program at London University to find that in fact there is a scientific base for how this does contribute to our mental health and to make us feel more relaxed and more calm in a busy world. I'm certainly feeling that here in the bush here and listening to these birds now. So that's a great story out of London. My last story today is an extraordinary story. An amazing story of migration. You know, if you've watched any of my stories before, you know how I love stories about migration. We have a record-breaking migration this week. 13,500 kilometres by a bird only just 5 months old, leaving its nest in Alaska, in the Northern Hemisphere, flying right across the Pacific, taking 11 days to do the flight, almost making it to New Zealand and then deviating at the end and landing in Tasmania. We know it took this flight because we put a tracker on it and we can tell it made this flight. Bar-tailed Godwits are a bird that have large wader-type feet. If this bird had landed on water, it wouldn't be able to take off. They cannot take off from water. So it flew, and it didn't fly across land at any rate. So we know where it flew across the Pacific by plotting its satellite track. It probably was headed for New Zealand, but at the last minute it deviated and went to Tasmania, which is why it flew about 500 kilometres more than it might normally have done, which means it then broke previous records. An extraordinary flight, 11 days without feeding, without landing, and arriving at a place at the other end of the planet after 13,500 kilometres. How these birds do this when they're only 5 months old, it's just extraordinary. But there we have it, a record-breaking flight by Godwit, just recorded in the last few weeks. Hope you've enjoyed these great stories this week. If you want to see any more stories, check out the YouTube channel, check out my website for safaris and bird trips that I do, and check out my Facebook page for various stories that you might find of interest. So it's neilhermes.com.au. Thank you for watching.